One man is lost in the fog. His friend brings a torch in the night. They walk arm in arm through the dark, guided by one man's sight. One man's sight. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can care, and all can change, and all can learn, and all can grow. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. Two men were working the land, two farmers making their trade. And while one was blind, he was still the mind behind the world's best lemonade, his lemonade. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can care, and all can change, and all can learn, and all can grow. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same.
The children in our country are being made to be the victim of a situation they are not involved, and then sent to a foster home where they again are reintroduced to trauma of being the odd ball. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem. George Washington never thought of children as pawn in the game of freedom and American values, and never had he wanted to sell them. They were from his maker, his creator. Our children are being run down for no other reason than the profits being made in some way. Somehow these government agencies make money hand over fist day in and day out. They have you go to classes that they are billing for, and there is no viable reason for you to attend. Yet when you hear an update, CPS tells you that you're further away from when you started. Reunification is your goal, not theirs. And after you go through 12+ months of grueling, painstaking classes and meetings, all while getting the slimmest amount of time to visit your child, and even worst, you are always supervised, never alone again with your child. It's awful. How do they feel, do you think?
Where's the outrage? Why is nobody standing up for these families being torn apart by CPS?
Please don't tell me you're going to put all your bets on this superhero. You grown-ups are supposed to be coming to his rescue. Stop ignoring this problem. There is nothing more I can say to any of you. Please fight CPS and help those who have lost so much they can help themselves.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Equal and the Same 11/22/25. I am Henry Martaccio, and I am bringing you an event tonight that hopefully will be educational, informative, and the whole nine yards. Shout out to Tammy. Love what you're saying. Shout out to John. Shout out to everyone. Tonight, I got a really special guest tonight. I consider her one of a good friend. I did meet her about 6 months ago through another advocacy organization. And I think my friend Nikki really has it going on. And I think she's representing the state of Ohio with parents' rights very, very well. So if we can welcome in Nikki and let her introduce herself to you guys. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. And you? How's the weather out
Good.
there tonight?
It's not too bad. I'm excited to get out there and go get something to eat soon.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't even think about it now at this time of night. I just go for the junk food and
Right?
right after the show. It seems junk food is more what I go for, but with the boy, he eats
Yeah.
everything all organic and gluten free, casein free. And by the time I'm cooking for him, I don't even want to cook for myself.
No, I know how that is.
It's coming around, I guess. I never understood that about my own mom's cooking for me, and how can you not be hungry?
Yeah.
And again, telling her how good everything is and the whole nine yards. But hey, Nick, tell all my friends out here in the wonderful world about yourself and what you do and how you advocate for parents' rights and what you're doing in the state of Ohio to make a difference. Because I'm begging you to give out your email to Nikki or somebody that wants to get in contact with Nikki. This is the woman. This is Wonder Woman. This is Wonder Woman of Ohio, guys.
No, stay humble, stay humble.
No,
All
that's
right.
it.
Well, basically, I'm just I was a single mom that lived in New York City with my two kids, my two older kids, and I was planning on moving somewhere where I can possibly learn how to like have a garden, anything agricultural, to be self-sustaining. It was just a goal of mine being in New York City, it's the concrete jungle, so I
Hmm.
wanted the green acres. And so I had to toss up between Colorado and Ohio. And with much prayer and research and everything else like that, I was like, okay, Ohio's where I could see my money. So I came out here with some money that I had gotten after a bad accident that I had gotten into on the Brooklyn Bridge. So we settled, and then I came out here to invest my money in to get passive income through, rentals and things like that.
Hmm.
So my grandparents did it. I watched, my grandparents were good with real estate and stuff like that. So that was something that I wanted to look into. That way I can, pay more attention to my kids, spend more time with God, and, live the American dream. So I came out here, I invested my money. I ended up getting married, having a child with someone, and that didn't work out. So we got divorced in 2020. Um, and then that's where my story begins pretty much. I mean, we just, learning trial and error. And, but I was able to accomplish having a passive income with a rental. I went
So
into
for everyone
business.
out there, you've been representing yourself, or were you represented by a lawyer in the beginning? And what
Well, in
happened
the
at the
in the
beginning that
beginning,
triggered you to be such a warrior?
well, after we got divorced, everything was going well. And then he started hitting me with like modifications and things like that. Uh, as soon as I got approved for my rental properties, um, you know how that goes. And then so the legal fees started coming in, and things transpired that were unfortunate. And I got safeguards for my son. And when I got the safeguards for my son, it was like game on. So everything, that's where, the courts, I started learning real quick and fast that the courts thrive off of conflict. So um, even if we agreed on everything, it was always something. It was always something. So we agreed. I had full custody with decision making. I stayed here in Ohio so he can have a relationship with his child. Um, we agreed on the child support. Then he went and wanted less time in the visitation. Then he wanted less to pay less money in child support. Then he wanted, it was every gimme, 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 gimme. And then I just, went along with it just to keep the peace and make sure that my child was good. And it just it got out of control. But yes, I was pro se. I can tell you right now, I out of from my personal experience, I had more safeguards and more rights as a pro se litigant than when I hired an attorney. Once I hired an attorney, it was like, except for one, there was one attorney from Cleveland. She was amazing. But you can't, I can't afford her. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right.
amazing comes with a lot of money. So, but she did do her best in the little bit of time that she came in. She actually was able to add more safeguards and get more stipulations as far as the orders were concerned. That made sense.
Well, the
But
safeguards would have been needed for more protections of your child, or what do you?
correct, correct.
So that's
My
basically what you started doing, was reporting possible abuse or
It
possible
was it
harms.
was it was alleged abuse. My son was coming home acting kind of weird. And then so I brought it to his dad's attention a couple of times. His dad kind of just shrugged it off like no, no, no. So basically, come to find out, he was being left with his father's girlfriend while he went to work,
So right
and
of
then
refusal, first choice, was denied from you. Right, keep
y-
going.
yeah, and basically I had that. So they started cracking down and putting more safeguards because they said if he couldn't supervise his child during his visitation that he would have to forfeit it, things like that. So it just became a whole back and forth thing. And my main goal and my main purpose was always to stay focused on my son and make sure he's good. Um, but they tried to turn it into I'm a bitter ex-wife and blah blah blah, and trying to keep the fuel going. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not. I wish everyone the best. I hope for the best. But unfortunately, when I brought when I actually got some kind of like evidence that had some teeth to it. When I called him and told him, his first response was, "From this point on, contact my attorney," instead of saying, And I said, "Well, I think we should just all sit down together and talk about this. That way, we can all be on the same page, and and just work together as a family. Even though we're divorced, as long as if we have a child together, we should always come together and show the child that
Absolutely,
they
it's the
have a
child,
support
not
system."
the parents.
And I'm not the type of person. My father was raised in a foster home, so I have a lot of extended family. I have a lot of family members that we consider family that are in blood, and so we're very open minded. All of my siblings are from different marriages from my parents. I was the only one out of the marriage from my parents, so my mom always taught me to be open minded and appreciative and of the extended family,
Hmm.
to always respect the other, my sister's mothers, or and things like that. So it's like we never had, and my mom was a very confident, secure woman, an independent woman. So with that said, I was taught by a very secure woman to be secure. There's no reason to be bitter.
And
Everyone
do
lives
you
their
think
life.
that's why they're attacking you? Because I mean, sounds like to me you're a mom trying to protect a child. I don't know if typical or non-typical,
Well,
but
I come to find out that I learned the term parental alienation
okay.
when his attorney filed it into the motion. And that's when I started going down the rabbit hole, because I'm like, parental alienation, like, how is that
Mhm.
possible if he's picking up his kid like clockwork during his visitation? So basically, what was happening is they were using his parental rights as an umbrella for the third party who's not a party of the case to have access.
Which
So
shouldn't have access to a parent's rights. I mean, they don't have standing unless she's willing to put her financial life online and prove that she's adopted the child too. And again, then I could
I
see
mean,
you
that's probably
having
something they're
standing.
doing in the back end too. I mean, they're being so secret squirrels, weirdo thing type of behavior. And I'm talking about the court system. The court system's always doing something in the background. You have to keep up with everything. It's like everything's in the shadows. So when I started learning about parental alienation, I was like, whoa, hold on. It just so happens that the United Nations let out a report on April 13th, 2023, stating that parental alienation was the automatic rebuttal in the court system when a child, when the allegations is anything of sexual nature or abuse. So it automatically is like parental alienation. And that should never be, because it's been proven over and over and over again that it was a term made by someone who was uh pro abuse. You know what I mean? I'm
And
just
it
to
was
keep it
designed
nice.
for
It
specifically
was
women only.
literally specifically designed to
But I think
shun
what the
a
child's not
mother.
understanding is too that your child, because I know the story a little bit, perceived disabilities, that he has a type of disability that again would raise my level as a parent to be naturally more protective of the child. So again, just the whole thing is kind of
Well,
crazy. Where you got a
throughout the
guy that's
counts.
not there every week, but yet the courts are going to even entertain the idea of turning the child over to the man. Just doesn't make sense to me. And again,
And you're a father who has custody of your child.
I'm a
So you
father who has
totally
custody
have
because
an
the only
open
reason is
mind.
she was
Yeah.
such a loser and she wanted to still make it about her. And I was only about him. And that's truthfully why. And trust me, I've been tortured every day since I've gotten custody. And they wanted to give me custody under conditions of a third party, which would be grandparents, her parents. And my feeling was, hell no. They're the ones that did this. They're the ones that gave him a double MMR shot. They're the ones that gave him double flu shot 2 months apart.
Wow.
And again, they can't even raise their own family. What makes them think that they can come at me now and be superior over a parent? But with you, there's a lot more too that I know that you got screwed over by attorneys and you
Well,
started
yeah.
catching the rabbit by the toe. How can explain to everybody how you caught the little rabbit by the little toe? Because you're who? Nikki.
Oh man, nah, I'm humble. I'm first and foremost, I want to disclose always that my wisdom and information, anything that I have that has been any type of remotely successful, has been from the Lord. I'm a firm believer. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I go into to prayer when I feel that I'm being overwhelmed, and I might get into my flesh a little bit when I'm thinking
Mhm.
about emotional. I wrestle every day just like everybody else. um and so I always ask for the wisdom and the words, because I don't want to make a decision in the flesh and then ruin it for everybody, because it was revealed to me that this is way bigger than us, and it didn't make any sense for me to be thrown in like this. And dumb claim parental alienation when my child was being picked up and dropped off at school by his dad every week. um
So the
so
schools got involved into your life. Did the schools end up defaming you in any way, or the schools
No, everybody,
discredit you?
all of our safe people, all of our people who have reported that my son has spoken to, they were completely severed from my child's life and from me by the courts. Once they put a guardian ad litem on the case, I mean, we've had a guardian ad litem on the case before, and she didn't find any findings of unfitness, and then she actually withdrew, stating conflicts of interest, which I thought was pretty interesting. But they said the conflict of interest was because she got promoted to magistrate in a different county or something. But regardless, the way I see it now, that everything played out the way it played out, I mean, the conflict of interest was possibly them trying to get her to do something that she was not agreeable on, and that was to lie about me. And so with that said, throughout the process, it was just a modification of visitation. Basically, I got all the safeguards that I needed for my son. I was happy with it. My son was happy with it. But unfortunately, after we got zero context between the children, um, it didn't go away. It was like challenge accepted at that point. And instead of thinking, hey, I'm going against my own child, he made it about me and him. And I'm just like, listen, you're gonna end up ruining your relationship with your son, whether you have custody or not. You're not putting your child's best interest and well-being and safety first. So that's between you and God. I don't know what else to
Mhm.
tell you, you know what I mean? Like, they're pretty much shadow boxing and then getting mad when they punch themselves in the face. And I'm over here trying to tell everybody, like, don't go there. Let's don't Why are we doing the most for no reason? And I don't want to get into all the conspiracy theories and oh, this, that, and other, but I can tell you that from experience and what I've witnessed firsthand, and what I've gained through knowledge and research, like, I mean, money is a huge motivation in these systems.
Well, we did see John ask the question to you. He said, "Hey, Nikki, was your child in the system and the financial situation?" Um,
No, actually, we had a dissolution of marriage and everything was fine. I have sole custody with decision making, not once, not twice, but we agreed on that 3 times. When we modified, he asked for me to sign off on arrears. I signed off on arrears. He asked me to lower the child support. I lowered the child support. He asked for, certain things. And they try, and every time he didn't show up, it was like, I guess I don't want to like put words in people's mouths, but the way it was playing out is maybe somebody on the back end was egging him on, like, hey, do this and say this in order to do, and he's thinking that he's hurting me. And yes, it's an inconvenience. But my hope and my faith is in the Lord. So like the Bible says, if your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. Like you don't, if that's what they need to sleep at night, then I'm glad to be of service, because at the end of the day, I know that I've had and I've didn't have, and then I'll have again, because God will redeem me every time. It's not my first rodeo. I have two adult children
for,
that
for, for
was
the ones that don't believe in God, I kind of believe it's a higher power. I think it's sort of like what AA is. Control what you can control, and you got to learn the rest. Just
let go
go.
and let God.
Let it
Yep,
go. 'Cause that
let it
shit
go.
will eat you alive. And trust me, I
Yes,
mean, it's just
yes.
staring at the ceilings at 1 o'clock in the morning and crying all night. It's crazy. I've been through it, and again,
Mm-hmm.
those feelings, and I don't want them back, and that's why I'm fighting so hard today. Because again, my child's worth 300,000 to them a year, and what they're going to do is put them on Ritalin and put them in the corner. That's it. It's disgusting.
I think it was just released. If I'm not mistaken, I read earlier, briefly, that they found that there was such Medicaid fraud that they're like diagnosing kids with certain things, and then they were funneling that money to like the cartel or something.
Oh, there's a lot of shit going on. Actually, American News Journal, he had a
Hmm.
hell of a podcast today. And yes, I guess Trumpy's talking about treason, and like everyone like Tanoa. Yes, when you commit treason, that means you get hung by the tree. But I'll take tar and feather. I'll take a tar and feather, public display, burn down their goddamn houses like they would have done 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Get them out of the community. They should not profit from the community. And I'm sorry, they're using our kids for profit.
I
This is
mean,
absolutely
you
every
have to
state
think.
got the 4D funding. Every state's got an incentive to keep the conflict going. GALs, they even got an incentive. It's billable hours, babe. It's
Yeah,
billable
I
hours.
did go.
Period.
I went into the CASA training.
Oh, so we're gonna get
And
into Costa now.
well, what happened
Okay.
was we had everything good. The case
Linking
was
that
pretty.
story. Wait a minute, linking the story because you're not
Yeah,
telling me.
that's what I'm doing. So when
Okay.
I got the last attorney, we got the stipulations, and they were saying, because my ex decided that with an active zero contact, that he was going to marry and move in with these people. So he married and moved in with the people, um, and then asked the courts to vacate the zero contact because of his circumstances, not because of the child, but because of him. It's an inconvenience. Now he married them, moved in. And I know from case law that any mother that puts their relationship before their child lost custody, lost all parental rights. You know what I mean? So
Yep. Yep.
it's whatever. I mean, it's decisions, you know what I mean? So basically how I was looking at it is, okay, we got a modified visitation for no overnights or something now, because your child's not ready, and that's it. Modified visitation. No more overnights. I didn't, I was willing to work with him and pick him up from school, whatever, spend time with him, la la la, whatever. But no, it's all or nothing. All or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I was in the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep, and I saw this ad on Facebook for Voices for Children, and I was like, "Ooh, Voices for Children," because I've always been an advocate for kids. Kids are
Mm-hmm.
where my heart is. And so,
Innocence. Yep. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I pressed on it, and the more information became a phone interview. The phone interview became an in-person interview. In-person interview became the federal background check with the fingerprinting, and here I am enrolled in this training. And so I found out that you can be a CASA and volunteer your time for free through
Mm-hmm.
the juvenile court system. and your whole intention and the whole reason for their federal funding is to go against the court to advocate for the child if they have to. And so I was like, when I did my interview, the last question he asked me was, if you had to go against the whole entire courthouse to advocate for a child's best interest, and they were not in agreement, everybody was against you, would you do it? And I said, and get adults as enemies? I was born for this, because I will take a child's safety and well-being over adults' feelings all day.
Absolutely.
So, so he was like, I had a feeling you were going to answer like that. And we just chuckled or whatever. And then he was like, okay. And then as we were walking out, he was like, there are those that are called to do this, and there are those that do this because they want to help. And he goes, and I think you were called to do this. And I said, well, yeah, because I just wanted to grow cherry tomatoes. I just want to be out here, do my little passive income and teach my kids and move on, and keep moving forward, and go to church and just chill. And so at that point in time in my case, all it was a modification of visitation. I did not have I didn't think ever in a million years that I would get a phone call at my job and be like, they took your kid, so
From
um
school.
from school. Yeah. So what happened was, as I was becoming a CASA, I was learning who was who and what was what, and everyone talks.
And for the
And
ones that don't have casas in your state, it's a guardian ad litem. Correct? We lost you.
and so can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
now I can. Yep.
So basically, a CASA, you can volunteer your time and help people
As the
with their
power
cases. So
as
if they
speaking
have
on
a high
behalf of the
conflict or
minor's
whatever and
best
they need to
interest,
find some
correct?
stuff out, you basically meet the child, you meet the parents,
Right.
you do your investigation, you interview everyone, schools,
GAL.
counselors, siblings, other siblings in the house, relevant family members that have access with the children all the time, and you collect facts, absolute facts, and you have to bring those facts to the court, and you have to make your recommendation. That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being, when they put that guardian ad litem on the case, I found out that a guardian ad litem is for the domestic relations division, not the juvenile court. And they sometimes go over to the juvenile court, but domestic relations is basically where you have the attorneys that are guardian ad litems, and they get paid billing hours. So they run up those conflicts and they make conflicts when there's no conflict. And I'm not going to say all of them do that. Not all of them do that, but
Now, is
a
there a club in
pretty
your state
sad
called
time
the
when they do that. So
is there a club in your state called the AFCC club? So in
I'm
my
sorry, you
state, the
froze.
AFCC. I'm sorry, am I? In my state, the AFCC is who actually runs the whole guardian ad litem racketeering. We don't have Costas. We only have GALs. And yes, you're right. More than likely, an attorney could be in that position, or somebody. What happened? She left me. But anyways, so hopefully she comes back. Oh,
Yeah, I
she
don't
is
know
back.
what happened.
Oh, you froze.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, in my state, it's a AFCC club, and they belong to this club. And what it is once you become a GAL, which through their training or being an attorney, and that's the only ones. And I know people who have gone through the training and
Well, I
they
want to say the
refuse to.
difference. There's a difference. ACASA is free through Voices for Children, and then through the juvenile court, and then GALs, guardian ad litems, are attorneys. Although they do the same job, one is billable hours and the other
Mhm.
one is not. I personally don't see the. I don't see the. If you already have people with their heart on their sleeves with good intentions doing it for free,
Right.
I don't see the purpose in having someone come in and do it billable hours. I don't.
Well,
I
I
find
would
it to
also,
be a double dipping. I find it to
I
be a
would think
double
it'd be a
dipping.
conflict. Right. I would think
Yeah,
it'd
it's
be a conflict
definitely a conflict. I see it to be
because
because
what
you're. Mhm.
like the Title IV defunding. Once the kids come into the system, they have to hit the 2-month mark, 6-month mark. Once they get past the 6-month, let's go for the year mark. This way we can get all our funding and our bonuses. So, and again, the AFCC club, the way it worked in Connecticut, the way Susan Skip exposed it, was basically, in a nutshell, the judges were appointing certain key players in their courtrooms, and through their AFCC organization, those people were giving kickbacks for the appointment.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's crazy. It's crazy money. And again, we're
And it
seeing it
should not be,
everywhere.
because when you're dealing with children's well-being, you have to make sure it's not motivated by anything
So
incentivized
the
monetarily.
judge had no clue that you were becoming a Costa when you had your rights taken away by the Fair
I don't know
Protection Act
what
evidence.
their problem was, to be honest. Like, I don't know how you don't know, but the whole fact was I was in the training, and I learned who was who and what was what. And when they put a specific guardian ad litem on my case, that's when I was like, oh wow, okay, I see where they're going, because I already know how they do business. So basically, you know, I kept it in writing, everything in writing. I spoke to her in writing, but she only interviewed me 1 hour
1
today.
hour was your
Today.
parents' rights.
She was assigned to the case August 2023. And since August of 2023 to today, November 22nd, 2025, I only spoke to her 1 hour in September of 2023.
That should be a punishable crime by itself, because again, not only are you taking away the clear and convincing standards, but you're also now doing it within an hour. How can somebody make a recommendation based off of a child's needs, two parents, we'll say two parents' habits in cohabitation habits and in food, educate? How do you evaluate that in an hour? I just don't even get it.
But I can tell you that, reputable organizations, counseling organization, because of what was found out, I wholeheartedly 100% utilized every resource possible, even CPS. And CPS found no findings of unfitness with me. Actually, they had stated in their document that the cause of the damages to the functioning of the child was the inability to co-parent and cooperate with each other. And it wasn't me, it was, and I hate to say it like that, but it's like, as soon as I got that, I I'm not sure if I got that recommendation after or before, but either which way, I had asked him in our family wizard if we can finish co-parenting counseling for the child's sake, and he told me he'd rather jump in a pit of fire.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
so at the end of the day,
But
what I
wouldn't you jump in a pit of fire to save your child?
he
Because I
said
know
he'd rather jump in a pit of fire to not co-parent with me,
yeah,
not
that's what I'm
cooperate,
saying to you.
not
And that's
finish.
when I would have looked at him. I would have been like, dude, are you off your hook? You know what I mean? Because sorry, I'd give my left arm for my child. If somebody could cure him today, whatever it takes.
Well, I did everything I was supposed to do on my end, and because I had sole custody with decision making, they said they couldn't do anything substantiated because I was doing everything in my power to make sure he was good and utilizing every resource that they gave me wholeheartedly. So I did everything on my part, but you can't force the other person. And they said that they couldn't force him to cooperate because by law he had the right to deny working with child services. He rejected it.
That is crazy shit.
So
So
then the GAL came in and she flipped the script and she made jurisdiction where there was no jurisdiction, because I wasn't telling him he can't see his child. He was simultaneously
lost you again, kiddo.
um as he was seeing his child, they were saying I was committing parental alienation. So basically what I got from the whole case is that I am parental alienating a third party who's not even a party of the case. So because my
By
child
somebody who's
rejected
not
somebody who's
qualified,
not even a party of
if
the
it is
case,
a
I lost
medical
my kid.
syndrome, by somebody who's not qualified to interpret medical needs, by somebody who only gave you an hour of evaluation, didn't use the technical. What happened to you again, Nikki? But anyways, by somebody, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, it keeps kicking me. I'm sorry.
by somebody who wasn't even licensed to do that type of evaluation. And again, it's a controversy right now on whether or not parent alienation is an actual legitimate science.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even like the term. The term has blood on it. Children have died because of it. Children have been SA'd because of it. So the fact that anybody even is okay with saying it, you might as well revert back to the N words naturally. Because at the end of
I
the day,
mean,
that's just as bad. And that's how I feel about that. When it comes to legal
I'll
terms and everything,
give
that
it to
term should
you.
not be made, said, done, used, never.
I'll give it to you because it's a feeling. In other words, if somebody feels like they're being alienated versus a court of law where it demands the proof of alienated, I'll give you that.
I will use the word isolated. I will use the real terms
Coercive
that define
control,
coercive control, the
yeah,
real words that
coercion,
define domestic violence. Because at the end
absolutely.
of the day, everything that I've experienced and that my child has experienced through this court system is a violation against the Violence Against Women's Act, the Keeping Children Safe from Family Violence Act. You know,
Hmm.
you have the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. Like
Which we love
there's
that here.
in Ohio, there's Marcy's Law. You know, there's so many things that
What's
should be
Marcy's law? Wait
protected.
a minute. Give me what's Marcy's law?
I have to go further. It's like a domestic. It's another thing, like a kid. You know, like sort of like all of the protections that for
Okay.
domestic violence survivors, and basically, but they don't care.
Yeah,
They
we
don't
have Jennifer's
care.
law where Jennifer was chopped up by her ex and disposed of, and they never found her body. And of course, Foodus Doulos, I think his name was, he committed suicide, and we don't know the answers. There's obviously an attorney that's been sitting in jail for 2 years, and his partner, which is from out of the country, and she's been sitting in jail for 2 years. And it's just crazy. It's overwhelming fact, but they just haven't been able to find the body ever. And
That's sad.
it's sick. It's sick. It's fucked up.
Yeah, but I learned throughout the process. So basically, they took my child on April 9th, and on April 27th, they swore me in as a CASA.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts. How the hell can you be making? It just doesn't make sense to me. A
And
whole
then
thing.
after that, I got retaliated against because I listed all of the violations of Rule 48. And then the administrative judge downplayed everything and said
And for the
we
ones that
can
are not in your state, Rule 48 is what? And you also
Rule
always talk to
48
me
is
$16.
it's basically the constitution of the guidelines of what the bare minimum requirement is for a guardian ad litem. If you can't do anything else, do this. It's kind of like the Constitution. We have all these little statutes, rules, whatever, but the Constitution is the law of the land. So if
Right.
you can't do the basic bare minimum of human rights right there, then you just, you're a mess because, why can't you just do the bare minimum? But when I pointed out that she couldn't even do the bare minimum, I got retaliated against left and right. Ever
Wow.
since they took my child, everything was about money, 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 paying the GALP. But then when they didn't even give me the bill, then they had to order her to give me a bill. And then when I calculated the bill, the numbers didn't even add up. And then it's just made up stuff. It's just, I can't make this stuff up. It's just, nothing matches. Numbers don't lie.
No.
And everything that they wanted me, everything, once they took my child, they literally held my kid ransom.
Did they
Every
play the game?
hearing was about money. Every hearing was about my payment to the guardian ad litem. It was just, and then hearings were 10 hearings were not put on the record. They did not record 10 hearings.
Whew.
Um,
Well, we got some states that don't even record one, so and I don't even get that
Yeah,
one. But
so basically what I found out, so I was taking the paralegal course too because when I did the CASA, I was like, let me jump into paralegal course because I think that would help me write my reports better or whatever the case may be and understand better. And when I got into the paralegal course, the first thing they teach you is that courts act as banks and children are collateral. And I was just like mind blown. That traumatized me right there. And I was like, and then they said that we, the people, are above the court system, but the courts flip it like we're not. And then a lot of things transpired from that. But then I found out that motions basically can be ignored, swept under the rug, denied, rejected, whatever the case may be. But an affidavit can't. It becomes
An
part of the record.
affidavit of what? An affidavit of
An
what?
affidavit of truth, an affidavit to preserve the record, an affidavit, a declaration. They call it a declaration here in Ohio, but I keep it affidavit. Everybody knows what that is. So basically, what I found out was they kept rejecting all of the evidence that I had, and they didn't want it, the relevance of it. They just kept making it seem like I was bitter. I was bitter. I can't let go. Well, I'm sorry, but there's adults coming forward right now talking about what happened to them at 4 years old and nobody helped them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it doesn't go away. And I've even talked to victims advocates, and they were like, it happened. I don't see why, and they told me even that the courts have let us down. They failed us. And so the fact that this was happening, I was like, okay. I
No,
come
wait a
to,
minute. Back up on the affidavit of truth, because I want everyone to get this. The way you did your affidavit of truth is you had it notarized, you had it all your exhibits attached so that there's no longer any refute. There's no way that somebody can actually say this didn't exist, because in your affidavit of truth, you just hypothetically, I didn't say this is what you wrote, but hypothetical, he went to the hospital at age 4. Here's the doctor's notes from when he had his leg broken. I'm just making up a scenario. Now, with
yeah,
that
I'm
being
learning
there,
as mhm.
that proves the abuse happened and it's going on. But yet the court still, and they have 30 days to answer that affidavit of truth, or else it stands as the truth.
Mhm.
So the way Nikki really took approach was, fuck motions, the hell with going at shit. I'm going in and getting my evidence any way I can on the record, because it's all about making a record. And that's when you really started getting hammered on. Did you end up having your files disappear?
My whole case file was missing for like 5 months. They couldn't find
5 months. Nobody could
it.
find a
After I
file.
filed my complaint, I come to find out later on that allegedly the administrative judge who was looking over my complaint took my file without signing it out. So
Which
nobody
how
knew
could
where
that be? Policies and procedures says he has to sign it out.
So nobody knew where it was. So basically, when I had one hearing and then they switched magistrates, and then when they switched magistrates, because the one on my case retired, the other magistrate came in guns blazing, like I didn't pay a dollar to the GAO when I gave her 2 grand. And then so basically he came in with contempts, like, oh, she's not paying. No, I'm not paying according to her lifestyle. No, I'm not, because I got to go according to my income. And
Mm-hmm.
then my attorney was a modest means attorney, which means I went through the bar association. They go by your income. So you either have $75, say $75 an hour versus 400 an hour, or free. You know what I mean? And then
5, 6, 7.
so
I've heard of somebody paying $8.50 an hour,
yeah, no, they
and that
can
was
go.
for
They can.
drug
And
lawyers.
that's the thing. That's the problem with this is that family family court um has no toppers. They're as bad as the pharmaceutical company when it comes to
Crazy.
charging for certain things. Like it could be a $7 motion. It costs them 5 minutes of their time, and they're like, today I need $2,000, so let me just charge you $2,000. You know what I mean? Like there's no like regulations, there's no oversight, there's no, you know what I mean? And so they literally will charge each parent according to what they own. So they're basically saying they're family court and doing things for the best interest of the child, but they'll take that home that your child will inherit and that it would be for them, and they'll calculate that into, oh, I can milk this case for the value of the home and then put a lien on the
Oh,
home.
absolutely. And I would love to have a system in contracting world where you lay down your financials. You tell me everything. I want to know bank accounts, diamond rings. I want to know what you got for gold. And then I'll decide to give you a price on what it's going to cost to get your job remodeled. It's freaking insane. I don't get it. How they can't come up with a lump sum to say a divorce is $500. Period. This is
Well, my
$1,000.
my dissolution of marriage only cost like a little
Right.
bit over 1,700, and we split it because we agreed on everything. It should just be simple like that, but when the conflicts arise and things like that. I mean, my main thing that my is mind blowing is that a third party found interest in my child and then just the courts removed my child from me and gave that third party full access as though that person is completely so basically
Because
that's
I
kind of
know
a
your
lot
story.
in the world,
Wait a
like
minute, because now I know your story. I want to get further on that third party because I'm dying for you to tell the people about this one. What happened to that GAL? Was she a good standing member of the community, or did she end up going to be a sour egg or proven to be a sour egg? I think you're the one that it might be a different case, but I thought I remember after she went against you, you had her disqualified. She did something in the public to get her arrested, a DWI or some kind of domestic violence.
no, that's not how it went down.
No,
Basically when I did my research, I found out that that a guardian ad litem in the courthouse was arrested for domestic violence in the past, but they dropped the charges, and then whatever happened with that. But the facts are the facts, and when somebody's getting arrested for domestic violence, I mean, and then you allow them to proceed over family matters. I mean, that does raise some red flags as far as the bias
well, it
that could
wasn't in your
possibly.
case, but it was a known case in your district.
I'm gonna,
Just
I'm
like
gonna, I'm
in
just gonna
my
say
district,
it's a known case, and it was a known person here in Ohio. And the fact of the matter is that, yeah, that's the person
so
yeah,
imagine
that's
if
the
you're having
person.
a birthday party and all of a sudden a GAL comes, knocks on your door, fucked up on fucking cocaine, telling you if you don't give
I,
that
I'm
child
sorry, but
birthday,
that's
if you
like
don't give
that.
that child's birthday money to me right now, and you know what happened to her? She got suspended for 6 months and mandated to go to a rehab. Are you shitting me? It's just
Wow,
insane. It's
that's crazy.
insane. Who the hell? Again, there is nobody vetting these people to see if they're holy rollers. Because I personally, in a divorce, would rather go see my priest in my town that knows my family, that sees it every Sunday, that says how I interact in the community and how we're going to be able to, as a unit, continue for these children to interact in our community. But it doesn't happen that way. We're getting a lot of ill professional people that can't even have control of their own lives making decisions, or they could have a drug habit or an alcohol habit
Well, that
or
yeah, that's the
even an
thing that they're
eating habit.
finding.
Because again, I've had people that were almost 600 pounds making decisions about me and my family. Come on, you
They
can't
find,
even
they
work your
find,
own
they
health.
they find that they're finding out now a lot of judges are getting arrested and in trouble and suspended because these people have they have a background of pedophilia or something or
I
some
believe
kind
it.
of, and or they, and that's my thing, like we're un we're imperfect people, all of us
Imperfect
are imperfect,
society.
and we're imperfect. So the fact that they give someone immunity that is just as imperfect as me to decide over my family in my home when they've never stepped foot in my home. And then on top of that, they probably have their own demons that form their bias or their culture or their upbringing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you give them immunity, they get a god complex.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very dangerous for family. That should never be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so with that said, I'm big on the whole ending qualified immunity. That's got to go.
That
But
has
right
to go.
now, Ohio is trying to pass SB 174, giving them complete discretion when they're doing
I
all
was
this with
actually going
broad
to give you
discretion.
the floor for Ohio because you were there at the conception of the bill. You were asked to come speak
No, the
about it.
conception of the bill was like 25 years ago, 2020. This is something they've been working on for decades, and now they're throwing it out there, and it's outdated, and it's not okay, and there's so many things wrong with it, and they're trying to take out parental rights out of the law altogether and put parental responsibilities, which makes it kind of, for my situation, you got a third party that's trying to pose as the parent with full authority, and then you take out parental rights out of the law itself and then give parental rights that you're giving my kid away, that they're wording it so it gives my kid away to a
So
person that
Ohio's
created
new
us.
law that they just passed, it wasn't a beneficial law. And I thought you were up there testifying
I
on behalf.
testified it in opposition of it because they're giving complete discretion when I've witnessed and seen and constituents are crying out to me, parents with evidence and videos and pictures, and say, freaking out, saying that their child's being abused, and they want to give this court complete discretion, which means there's a possibility we might not even be able to appeal because what they say is law.
Now,
That's wild
did
to
your
me.
governor sign that bill yet, or what's?
Not yet. Not yet. But
So are you
if
doing
they,
any advocacy moves now to help try to bring attention to how bad
yes,
this is?
I've been speaking with other people, and
Is
there's
there a
a
group that people in Ohio could join to help get on this advocacy kick with you, or
Elizabeth McNeese is the one that keeps me in the loop on the legal stuff. She's been working on this for 5 years. She's been in opposition and of a lot of these reckless bills that they're trying to do, and they want more. You cannot give the government so much power over your own family life. That's just not supposed to be happening. It's unconstitutional.
with immunity? And that's the
With
worst part.
immunity and no oversight. There's no, like, yeah, there's no oversight. There's nobody to look into it, internal affairs. There's no internal affairs for these people. They say they do, but it's like, where is it?
Now, does
So
your state have a constitutional sheriff?
we have a new sheriff in town, and he is amazing. He's working on so many, it's like when he came here to Lorain County, he has a lot of work to put in. I mean, they're exposing so many conflicts of interest and corruption and on things that they're not supposed to be
Fraud of
doing here.
taxpayer dollars and
Oh, it's a mess here. And everything that happens in the dark comes to light. So, I mean, he got a lot of work to do. And I'm a willing vessel. A lot of parents, like this morning, I slept a lot today because this morning I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to go pick up a child for a mother. She asked me to pick her up and put her on, make sure she gets on the plane so that she can go spend her visitation with her mother. And I did that. I went a little bit out of the way. But it's for the kids, and
yeah.
the little girl is so amazing, and she's very smart kids. These kids are very smart,
Oh,
and
very smart.
and it's disheartening to see how many loving children. From the naked eye, you would think this child's never went through what they're going through. But I know the case. I know the
Mhm.
case details. I know the mother, and stuff like that. And it's just mind blowing. But she was just like, Nicole, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know how to thank you because I'm front and center when it comes to the kids. And I started laughing because I said, if it was you, I had to pick you up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm not. I'll think twice because it's you. You're an adult. I said, but because it was the baby, I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it. And we had fun. We ran through the airport and stuff. People were laughing. And she was like, "Don't let her make you buy everything at the store. She'll get you." So it was a pretty good experience. It made me miss my son even more because I know that, I have many parents that will vouch for me, many school officials, people in incredible positions that know me, that are just mind blown over the fact that my child is not in my home.
Now, I have a question for you because Fernando sent this, and guys, I'm sorry, we're trying to get Fernando in here tonight, but he was having a hearing problem. He could hear us, but we could not hear them, or vice versa, whatever it was. But he sent us in a group text chat today. Minors in canon law. It's laws that, again, it was a doctor, a peer review medical legal article that was written in 1967, and I wasn't sure if you knew anything about that because I think this is going to apply to something big because Fernando is a constitutional person, and I'm not sure if he's still listening. But Gunnar, if you could throw up a link on the note on the chats there for him, see if it might work that way. It was in our message today from when we had a group message about the show tonight, the link. And again, he's a phenomenal guy. I want him to take up a show because he's got so much to teach people about how to fight the system as a I don't even know how to. I know it's all part of the UCC filings. I know it's all part of declaring yourself, sovereign kind of immunity, and you're setting up your whole life and tax situation to be in a corporate setting. So you yourself is nothing. So, like when he's going to appear for himself in courts, he identifies himself as a person of interest to the matter, not the person themselves. So it's pretty crazy what he's doing with law, and I'm liking a lot. And
I mean, that's really good and dandy and stuff, but the show still goes on. So while everybody's working on the outskirts and doing too much with the details, we need to cut the snake at the head. I mean, in the meantime, we have people with immunity, people who are violating constitutional rights
well,
because it's not a court of law,
I
it's a
think
court of
that's why the
equity.
filing of what he's filed himself as a state citizen or a sovereign citizen. And again, I know it's only through the UCC one form that he did it. And again, it means that the government has no right. In the way I understand it from him, he even went as far as to say, my daughter is the trustee and only payable from me. Where the federal government, once your child's born, they stamp them, get their fingerprints, or in my case, my feet prints when I was a baby, and now that baby gets traded for life on the stock market for a commodity for the country, where you're basically taking that back and saying, no, you can't do that to me. I never gave you consent to trade me as cattle on the stock market.
Okay,
Um,
but that you got to understand that it takes away that takes so much time and energy. Like if he's doing that and he can educate, that's fine.
mm.
But in the meantime, we have children
No,
being,
somebody that's going in for showing up to
and
court.
there's laws. The whole point is there's laws, and the name of the whole game, the reason why they've been able to gain so much traction and have so much teeth is because people perish for lack of knowledge. Okay, if you don't know your rights, you don't have them. And
When you
so
give
with
them up, once you hire that attorney, you actually given
so
up
what
all
I
your
found
rights.
out is when you hire an attorney and you signed a retainer,
Mhm.
you're giving them power of attorney to make decisions for you, even without you in the room. So, me being the person that I am, asserting my rights, knowing my rights, I didn't know those stupid little tedious stipulations there.
Right.
So, I was being offended every time I went to court and he went to the back and he wasn't allowing me to go to the back. Oh, well, I'm back there. I said, yeah, but you not my man. You're not my man. You're not in my home. You don't pay my bills, and and you're ripping me a new one, and you could be back there playing chess or checkers or poker for all I know, and you're charging me by the hour, and I'm not allowed to sit there to make decisions for my life.
This is why I love you, Nikki.
And so with
It's
that
straight
said, I was
thinking.
like, you're insulting my intelligence right now, and I'm feeling I this is a violation of my constitutional rights. And he was just like, so we went back and forth a couple of times, and he felt some type of way when I asked him if he was I said, you're active duty with the military, correct? And he was like, yes. And I said, okay. So do I file my complaint with the bar or the military court when you violate my constitutional rights?
And explain to people why you know about that little scenario.
I mean, it's just something that it's common sense. But my whole family's military and police, so I have my uncle was, a recruiter and stuff like that, and he went to Vietnam twice. And my dad was in the military. My cousin's retired Air Force right now. She just, and just everybody's Navy, Army, Air Force in my family.
And he gave you the backbone for military discipline and military law. And we hold an
I mean, I
honorable
definitely would
truth,
look into it to hold everyone accountable. And so, I don't know, I must have hit a nerve, of course, but I'm hitting a nerve because I had
it's the
safeguards and they
truth,
flew out the window as soon as him and the guardian ad litem got on the case. And he was appointed by the Bar Association.
which
They
that's the big
gave
thing.
him to me, and so I didn't choose this attorney. I mean, I did and I didn't, because they just said, hey, we found you one, go do the consultation. And I did the consultation, and then I come to find out when he looked in the computer that they had this hearing going on that I didn't even know about, that they would have hemmed me up then. They didn't even serve me, and they were about to have a hearing that week, and he was like, you do realize you have a court date And I said, I gotta go to work. Like, I can't be there.
Mm.
So I went and I hired him immediately. And that's when the debt started rolling in, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then the safeguards flew out the window. And I come to find out that my case was actually closed. So I don't believe they even reopened it properly to even force the reunification of a third party who's not even a party of the
Mhm.
case. So it's a lot of procedural issues with my case, and I'm not getting any answers, but I'm getting results. So basically, I must be doing something because I filed my affidavits. I attached my exhibits to the affidavits, and I filed it for the record to preserve the record. Any motion I ever
Mhm.
make with an affidavit in support, and I notarize it and put it on the record. And so far, I got every judge off the case stating conflict of interest. Both attorneys withdrew, and the guardian ad litem now just put in her withdrawal last week for conflicts of interest. But she's trying to complain to the court, saying that because I damaged her reputation and said falsehoods about her. Basically, so basically, I came forward. I
So they
exposed
can
what's
say
happening on my
you
case.
damaged their
And
reputation.
now
You lose your
she's
case.
asking the courts to punish me, sanction me, put me in jail possibly. She's planning to go outside of the court to seek other measures, which means she's probably going to sue me. And the whole fact of the matter is, what happened when you guys told everybody on legal documents that I'm a child abuser with no facts? What happened to you guys literally said that you ignored everything that my son said and disclosed and lied about it and placed him in a home with an active zero contact order 3 weeks before he was supposed to testify in camera. That constitutes messing with a witness. You're tampering with the witness. You basically put the witness inside the hostile environment and created a substantial risk, and then you made me pay for that.
That's
you're
beautiful. Thank you.
you're I mean, I don't know how else to put it. He had three
Beautiful.
weeks to testify, and you transferred custody with no facts, findings, or conclusion of law. You only spoke to me 1 hour, had the case for 7 months. Then when I go to find out if she even used the release of information to get his records from the counseling place, I have a stamped a stamped paper stating she never even requested the records once. Not a once.
Wow.
But I got emails from her saying,
Wow.
you need to sign this release of information. It's such a dire, she was adamant on sign this, sign this, sign this, sign this, sign this, and never used it.
Now, question: how are they on the ADA discrimination in your state? Because, in my opinion, because again, I know your child has perceived disabilities or minor disabilities, and even at that, post-traumatic stress would qualify him today for the ADA protection because I'm sure he's got some kind of.
Well, yeah, he was seeing a trauma-based counselor at the time that she transferred custody, and then they severed
Oh,
his trauma-based counseling and placed him in the home with an active zero contact.
so again, why ain't we suing her underneath the ADA? She has no immunity. 1983 civil lawsuit. If she fucks with you, that's what I would do personally. But you also hold
It's
this.
not legal advice, but yeah, we all
Well,
know that.
personally, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
I would.
I'm telling you right now, I will move accordingly. I give grace because God gives me grace every day.
Mm-hmm.
I move accordingly. It's no hard feelings.
No,
It's not
I'm
in my
just trying
flesh.
to tie it into my world because I mean,
Yeah, no, no,
if
no.
the lady's
I'm
running around saying you're defaming her. Well, then my opinion is, man, by association, you've ruined my child, you ruined me, and we have two counterclaims right there alone because it's him to me to him, and then again we have us to our husband because I'll even take it to the third step. The ex-husband. That again, there's 9 people that now have standing to sue you. And again, because you're all different actions. And again, screw her. Keep tearing her apart, Nikki. Screw that bitch.
Listen, I made it very clear that God revealed to me that I'm going to be the one that's going to have to do this. These people are afraid here. Like, I've had credible people in positions tell me, I'm surprised they haven't tried to kill you yet.
And that's the golden rule 10 years ago. I would have been like, yep, with Nancy Schaefer and getting clipped, everyone else.
I
Absolutely.
mean, but you know
Today, I
what?
think
It's
it's
like,
just so hard for them to do.
at the end of the day, when I can't unsee it, when I have parents sending me videos and pictures and
Mm.
evidence of their children, because no, the courts don't want to hear it, then what does that make me? I
And again,
refuse to sit
Nikki,
here with apathy and act like this ain't gonna, affect. It affects of the bottom line for all of us. We all pay for this. Our tax dollars go to it,
oh, absolutely.
mismanaged. It, and the liability in the community goes up because of the
Your home
violence between
taxes
the
pay
two.
for the mission.
The
Your social
value of our
tax
property
pays
goes
for
down.
the mission. Your income tax pays for
It's
this
full
mission.
circle.
It's
It's
it's a
full circle.
whole circle. And then if you really want to look at it, the schools are part of the system too. Because again, some of the shit that when I send
Listen,
my
I'm gonna
child to my
tell you.
school, I don't see how, if that's the public place that I know my child's supposed to be at, that they're allowing them to interact without my consent. I don't
I
care
can
if
tell you right
damn
now. I
teachers
can
are
tell you right now. I want to disclose this. Every teacher in the public school, every counselor my son has had when we were together and he was with me, and every teacher did what they were supposed to do. The system failed us. The court failed us. Every one of them showed up to testify. They made the counselors leave 7 times. The counselor showed up to testify that they if they made a report or whatever the case may be, if they found me unfit, they didn't. I communicated and cooperated with each and every one of them, and they were there in support of the child, and they made them leave, to the so much so that my counselor had to get an attorney to file an affidavit stating that they
my buddy.
made.
Hmm.
Hey,
Hi, Nikki.
hi.
How's Nikki doing?
Yes.
How's your movie going? Good?
Good.
You want a snack?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute here. I'm triggering my music early. Hell no, I got till 9 o'clock, Gunner. Who's triggering my music early?
So I just want to let you know, like, they did show up. They did try to testify. They were kept from testifying. And right now, the only people they let testify were people that were after the removal. So it's kind of like he doesn't exist before that.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm blown away by your story. I hope the crowd that's with us here tonight is blown away with your story.
I mean, I want all eyes on Ohio.
I
It's
hope
horrible right now.
people from Ohio can team up with you. So what would be a good way for them to team up with you?
Well, I was giving out my Facebook and accepting people, but unfortunately the GAL had people infiltrate and she stalked my page recently, and she screenshot so much that now I'm alarmed on how many screenshots she had of my personal DMs and my
Freedom of speech. We got somebody that could take care of that one. Nikki,
um
reach out to her.
so
You know how to get a hold of her. Autumn through our other group. You want to get a
yeah,
hold of
so
Autumn.
basically what happened was so she basically filed that as evidence, but I cracked my head the other day, and I did a lot of case law myself, and I'll be responding to that. I'm pretty sure my response is going to be a lot more credible than the 20 years of her
She fought the
experience.
system. Actually, she was a podcaster. They told her she needed to stop podcasting and stop talking about what's going on. Now you haven't mentioned her name once, so there is no defamation. It's the
Well,
GA.
well, I have named the name. I have mentioned name. I
Yeah,
know
but I'm saying
hide
you why you're
anything.
defaming the person that alleged defaming.
I mean, I was on
I
my
was
personal
told
Facebook page, and my personal Facebook page is private. And it was our safe space that I was giving other parents a safe place to go, because it just so happens that more people are coming forward to me stating, oh, you have this person too. This is my experience. Oh, you have this person too. This is my experience. The problem is they're freaking out because they don't want the congregation of the victims coming together,
and
obviously,
that's what you needed
and
more
and
so.
that's what I did. And they've been threatening these moms, man. When she sent me a letter stating that she was withdrawing, the same day I got a text message from the mom simultaneously saying that this guardian ad litem emailed her attorney and her attorney dropped her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just absurd that each and every one of the mothers that have coordinated with me and in support of each other all got retaliated against this week. their attorneys all dropped them.
Oh, because it's going bigger. It's going bigger with what we're working nationally too. And again, I don't
And
care
I'm not
what.
the only one. That's my point. I'm not the only one. So why are you coming at me crazy? This is literally a whole movement.
Oh,
And
and it's not going to
it's
stop.
worldwide movement. It's not even a
Oh, it's
national, it's
even
not a
worse
state,
out of
it's a
America.
worldwide. Oh
We think
yeah.
we're bad. It's way worse. And that's where we'll head. It will be there in 10 to 15 years, no different than England.
Listen, it started in America. They just won't say it out with their whole chest. Richard Gardner and the other doctor, the sickos that started this whole movement, is
Right.
from America. It was on American soil that it started.
I don't
A
know.
lot of people don't want to be saying that, but you know what I mean? I'm tired of it. I'm
It
tired.
just
My son is
seems
tired. He ended up getting sick, and when I said I wanted to be there at the doctor's appointments, they wrote me and said, "No, I'm not going to be at no doctor's appointments. There's no order that states I can't be there." And what if he needs a kidney? What if he needs my liver? What if he needs, you know what I mean? Like I have the
yeah,
right to be there
right.
as a parent. And even through the domestic violence, I never denied my ex-husband the right to be there because if we have to make a decision for my son's health
Mhm.
and life, he's the other parent.
Right, right. And John's basically out of Canada saying the same things going on to him up there in Canada. Again, it's amazing how they can just use this threatening and coercion and an intimidation because that's what I'd be filing immediately under the ADA.
Well, you got
Is
to get involved. I filed a 60B motion on my case. I filed a notice
and
of
for 60B for
1983
the ones that don't
civil
know,
right.
60B is
60B motion is basically when there's fraud upon the court.
okay.
You got a certain amount of time, about a year or whatever, to file it. And in my case, they inflated my income and garnished my salary and without a hearing and did it while there was a motion to stay and objections. And I had an informa paupers. Informa paupers was me filing all of my income. They were supposed
Mhm.
to take into consideration before they start garnishing, holding in contempt, threatening, whatever payments. They had to take into consideration both parents' income and their ability to pay. And so
Mhm.
and when I put the informa paupers, then they went after me even more. They're mad because I have a property. I said, the property is my child's property. You can't say you're in the
Your
best interest
other
of my
child,
son.
your other
Yes.
child
So
for the story.
basically, I have my oldest son went into the investment property with me. So he's the main owner. He's the one holding the mortgage and I'm the other owner as a secondary. So they see investment property and right away they're inflating my income. They're saying I have
Trying
rentals
to
I
snag
don't,
it. Trying
trying to snag it. And they opened up a cigar lounge 2 blocks from my house. And they're planning this big, huge steel mill and all kinds of major, renovations and things to Lorain County. And I'm 2 blocks away from everything. So what do you think they're doing?
they want you gone.
So is it about the best interest of the child or is it about them gentrifying and pushing people out?
I
I
think it's
don't know.
about pushing people out.
No, I can tell you it's about everything. It's a little bit of everything.
You
They just
know,
been doing it so long, they're not used to people coming
and
forward.
it's the lawyers that have been doing this so long that they just their corruption through what is it the British Bar, British
The
Association
bars, I
Registry.
think the bar association's younger than my grandmother. So I don't understand how they have so much power. But us as the people, it's our fault. We the
Mm,
people are the ones that have to make sure it doesn't happen anymore.
mm.
That's all
I
there is
mean,
to it. If we assert our rights and we know our rights and we come together, we have the right to vote them in and we have the right to impeach them.
but it just takes so long to go through the ranks, and
It really doesn't because
I
there's more numbers with us than there is with them. Trust me. It's
I
not that hard.
think even starting though as a librarian, if you can get on a freaking town council as a librarian, whatever it is, or beautifying your town, that's how you start infiltrating, and then that's how you start getting your message out. But what was amazing to
People who
me,
know me here love me here. They know that what type of parent I am. Always say they trust me with their kids. I'm always advocating for the kids. And it's gonna get bigger. There's a lot of great things coming forward. I found pain. I turned my pain into purpose. I pray for my son to come home sooner than later. And the fact that God just keeps giving me more and more and more evidence as I just surrender it to him. I mean, literally just they were trying to turn guardian ad litem fees into child support, and I was like, you can't do that. That don't even sound right. I know once I read into that, that's not, you're not going to be able to
And
do
I'm
that.
hearing multiple people saying that they're getting court order and it's part of child support. And the way they're doing it is, and the reason they're doing it is because it's running their numbers higher. And when you get higher numbers, that means 67 cents or 69 cents on every dollar of child support collected, they get to do the federal government. My state just went from net income. Now they want to go to gross income, because the gross income, obviously, if they let you have your deductions of your houses and everything else, they're going to make less on the child support and they're going to make less on the federal government. And it's such a racket. It's not even funny. And there was, again, two guys earlier today that were, or yesterday. I caught it this morning. And I wouldn't mind sharing that video with you guys just to see how sick it is, of a system, if I can get it to play and share for the last few minutes of the show. And
I do want to say some advice. My advice is to, for every parent, to document. Buy a calendar, one of those planners, and every day, if something happens where a motion is filed or an incident happens or somebody reports something, document, 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 because people tend to get overwhelmed and they start losing it because they're trying to hang on to every detail. And what I found very helpful in the situation is that you write it down and then you let it go. Because eventually you're going to refer back to that and it's going to help you in your affidavits. So basically, you can keep a timeline of affidavits where you're crunching what's happened in every 12 weeks. Every 12 weeks, recap your case of what's happened within that 12 weeks and then write pinpoints. So you'll say, like, one, such and such date, email was made, this was the outcome. See Exhibit A, attached to email. Boom, boom, boom. And then just start, make it very brief, just keeping a timeline of everything and then keep it in a folder. And when the time comes, I mean, that you can't rebuttal that. It's literally a record of what has
everything.
transpired and how everybody moved, and it shows motive. It shows retaliation. It'll show misuse of the system. It'll show procedural errors. It'll show everything, and that's what helped a lot because I was getting overwhelmed for a minute there, and I was like, why am I, so through counseling, I was learning that I can compartmentalize easier if I get a calendar and let it go. And then when we went to court and they tried to fabricate some narrative, I turned around and said, hold on, what date was that? And they're like, oh, this date, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I pulled out my calendar and I said, yeah, on this date, this happened because of this. And our family wizard date, da, 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 da. Yeah, that's exactly what's on here. Here, I'll make a copy and put it on the record. That's exactly what happened.
Wow.
And so they were just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, so, so it was like, so document, 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 uh, preserve the record.
Use
Anytime
your
you do a motion,
affidavits of truth.
yeah, so preserve the record with your affidavits, attach your exhibits to your affidavits. It's a court of equity, not a court of law. So please educate yourself on the difference between the two because they do have different procedures and different ways to go about it. Learn the rules of your courts and don't be afraid. When they threaten you, you have to hold the line no matter what
Yeah,
and let them know that you're asserting your rights
to-
and that you will be that parent because if
totally
we
agree.
don't protect our children today, they're not going to protect us tomorrow. And if we don't preserve their innocence today and protect them today, they're going to exchange their freedoms for a false sense of security tomorrow.
Right, right, right. I have a question. I want to be able to at least play this before the end. Are you able to see a White House right now on
No,
my screen, or you just see me?
I just see you.
Okay, so I'm doing it wrong.
You're better than me. Anyway.
I'm trying, but nobody wants to teach the old man.
You're a lot better than
Um,
me. I'm
let's
just learning
try.
this stuff. I don't know. I want people to get a hold of me. If anything, they can contact you through your platform, and then you can take maybe if you don't mind taking like calculation or whatever. Just write it down. Who needs to me to reach out
I
to
was
them? I
thinking
could reach out
too.
to them.
I
I'll
think
reach out to them because I
hey,
have to be
I
very
know
careful.
there's
And
Ohio, Ending Immunity in Ohio. That's a good
yes,
website.
yes,
I know
and the
there's the
qualified immunity.
Ohio Family Justice and Accountability Act. There's ways to find you if people want to find you out there. And again, I mean, it's different groups you might belong to in Ohio, parents' rights groups.
I will
And
tell you right now, I'm not associated with any organization. I am associated with every parent in support of them and them doing the right thing for their kids. So
that
yes,
makes beautiful.
you will see me in the background on certain anytime they're having some kind of like informational platform or panel or anything that I can possibly go to network and meet other parents and learn more. It we have to edify each other. We have to learn from each other, and we have to really in this time put our feelings aside and stick to the facts, because this is a court of equity that has been denying the facts for over 30, 40 years.
And Nikki, I just want to say something. John just brought up a good point here. He wants to say thank you for being a guest tonight, Nikki.
Thank
And
you.
I would rather say, you know what, John, you know, I think Nikki, because I've talked to her quite a bit and quite extensive, and she's one of the most level-headed, both sides, look at both sides people, and then goes down a common path with a common uniting of two disagreeing parties. I think Nikki would make a great show every week. Kicking
I
ass in Ohio, something called Nikki's taking
I
Ohio.
will tell you, I don't know much about this. I have to get a hold of my daughter. She's the techie person.
Well, this
But
is exactly like we did tonight. We
yeah,
did
that
this
I'm
one, but
actually
except for
starting.
you bring in Ohio guests.
I
You
am
bring in,
starting
and we're
a
not looking
platform.
to badger any court system. We're just
No, we
looking to
just
give
stick to the
people a
facts.
platform to be able to tell their story. So in my case, this is like an affidavit of truth. Why would I be not on camera speaking the truth right here, right now? Because what we're about is true facts. We want to hear facts. We don't want to hear misleading or
Or
you know.
I feel like this is no. Feelings feel we can't be in our feelings right now. We'll cry when it's over, right?
I listen. I might cry when I rewatch this later and how bad it was for me.
I'm
Um,
gonna let you know right now. I am starting a podcast of my own. It's gonna be called Shining Light with Emil, and I want to bring everybody in because I love each and every one of you guys. I've met many organizations and even organizations that are like kind of bumping heads and going off on each other and going on rants. I can tell you right now, we all have something amazing to bring to the table.
you got it.
We are not all going to agree. The one thing we need to agree on is that it's to protect the children. I don't care
And
about
there
any
is no
adult's
wrong
feelings.
exit to get to the Capitol. It's
We
however
can,
we do
if
it
we
as
all
a
get the
team.
win, we all get the win. Whoever gets the
Right.
win gets the win, as long as the win is not for self and the win is for the children.
You got it.
That's my goal, and that's my priority and my focus.
I think with that, I think I ought to trigger Gunner now to take us out of here because we don't want to miss Sam. And again, Sam is very good healing with Sam, and that's why I see you as a person, Nikki. You're really a healing person by nature, and yet you can stand and give you factual law at the same time. Because
Amen.
I've seen some of your briefs, I've seen and talked about your filings. I think you got a lot to teach people. And again, when
I'm
I say
learning. I'm learning. I'm willing to learn
listen,
with
so
everybody
am
and
I.
edify each other.
I am not the expert on the ADA everybody wants to think I am. I'm not credentialed. I don't think you have to be. It's technical assistance and technical guidance given by the DOJ. We're talking like a Sunday paper here of our rights. That's all this
It
is,
it
guys.
takes a village to raise the children. The
Where else
village
are
has
we
to
going to learn
tighten
about
up
our rights? What are they going to teach you in
to
school
get
today?
no, not anymore.
No. And again, I really beg you because again, my next goal was to introduce everybody to Fernando, who's been on our shows before, and we're trying to push him to take on the aspect of what he specializes in aspect of everything. And again, if you think you got a situation where you've done very good as a pro se or a suit as jurist or wherever else, private attorney general, come to us. We want to hear from you. We want to learn what you've done.
Or I've heard this one, a non-legal service consumer participating in litigation.
That would be a tongue twister. The judge would be like, "What did you say, son?"
No, I heard one parent say that. I heard a parent say that. It was funny. It was really funny.
Thank you, Nikki. I've been waiting 3 months for
Thank
you.
you
I'm
for
gonna make
having
you a
me.
superstar because you're gonna tackle Ohio. It's gonna be you. I know it's gonna be you.
God bless all of you guys, and thank you for the support.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in tonight, everyone. John, my Canadian friend, I want some poutine sauce sent to me. Will you, for crying out loud? Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next.
You we are equal in the same. We are equal.